My childhood friend stole my ex-husband and invited me to her wedding. I tried to take revenge on her at the wedding. Some betrayals cut so deep they leave scars that never fully heal. I learned this firsthand when I discovered that my childhood friend Anna had stolen my ex-husband David. The pain of their betrayal was compounded when Anna had the audacity to invite me to their wedding. It was a wound that reopened every time I thought about it, and I found myself grappling with a whirlwind of emotions. My name is Olivia, and for a long time I thought I had the perfect life. David and I met in college, and our whirlwind romance quickly blossomed into marriage. For a while, everything seemed perfect. We shared dreams, ambitions, and built a life together. But somewhere along the way, things started to unravel. The spark faded, arguments became more frequent, and eventually, we realized we were better apart than together. Our divorce was amicable, or so I thought. Anna had been my best friend since we were kids. We grew up next door to each other, shared secrets, and were practically inseparable. She was there for me during my breakup with David, offering a shoulder to cry on and words of comfort. I trusted her implicitly, never once imagining she would betray me in the most personal way possible. The first hint of their relationship came as a shock. I was scrolling through social media when I saw a picture of David and Anna together, looking far too cozy for comfort. At first, I brushed it off as a one-time thing. Maybe they had run into each other at an event. But as the photos and status updates kept coming, the reality hit me like a ton of bricks. Anna and David were a couple. I confronted Anna one evening, hoping for an explanation that would make sense of the situation. I invited her over to my apartment, and she arrived with her usual cheerful demeanor, completely unaware of the storm brewing inside me. "Hey, Liv, what's up?" She greeted me, her smile faltering when she saw my serious expression. "We need to talk," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "about you and David." Her face turned pale, and she looked away, unable to meet my eyes. "I was hoping we could talk about this. I wanted to tell you, but I didn't know how." "How long has this been going on?" I demanded, my voice rising with anger and hurt. "Not long after your divorce," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "It just happened. We didn't plan it, Olivia, I swear." I felt a surge of betrayal and anger. "How could you? You were supposed to be my friend, Anna. You knew how much he meant to me." "I know, and I'm sorry," she said, tears welling up in her eyes. "I never wanted to hurt you, but we fell in love. It was unexpected, and I didn't know how to tell you." "Unexpected?" I scoffed, shaking my head in disbelief. "You don't just unexpectedly fall in love with your best friend's ex-husband." She reached out to touch my arm, but I pulled away. "Olivia, please try to understand. We didn't mean for this to happen, but it did. We want you to be a part of our lives, not shut out." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My best friend and my ex-husband were asking for my understanding and acceptance. It was too much. "I need some time," I said, my voice cold and distant. "I can't deal with this right now." Anna left, her shoulders slumped in defeat. I sat in my living room, staring at the wall, trying to process what had just happened. The sense of betrayal was overwhelming, and I felt like my world had been turned upside down. I avoided social media and mutual friends for a while, not wanting to see or hear anything about Anna and David. Months passed, and I threw myself into work and other distractions, trying to move on. Then one afternoon an envelope arrived in the mail. My heart sank when I saw Anna's handwriting on the front. Inside was a beautifully crafted wedding invitation, complete with embossed lettering and a photograph of Anna and David looking blissfully happy. The wedding date was set for 6 months from now. I felt a mix of rage and disbelief. How could Anna be so insensitive as to invite me to her wedding with David? It felt like a slap in the face, a reminder of everything I had lost. I threw the invitation on the table, pacing the room as I tried to calm down. My thoughts were a chaotic jumble of anger, hurt, and a growing desire for revenge. That evening, I met up with my close friends Lisa and Karen at our favorite cafe. They had been my pillars of support throughout my divorce and the aftermath of discovering Anna and David's relationship. I needed their perspective on this new development. "I can't believe she invited you," Lisa said, shaking her head in disbelief. "That's just cruel." "I agree," Karen added, her eyes filled with concern. "But what are you going to do?" I sighed, stirring my coffee absent-mindedly. "I don't know. Part of me wants to confront her, to tell her exactly how much she's hurt me. But another part of me wants to show up at the wedding and make a scene." "Revenge might feel good in the moment," Lisa said cautiously, "but it could also backfire. You need to think about what you really want out of this." "What I want is for her to understand the pain she's caused," I said, my voice shaking with emotion. "I want her to feel some of what I've felt." Karen reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "We're here for you, Liv. Whatever you decide, we'll support you. Just make sure it's something you won't regret later." I nodded, appreciating their support but still feeling conflicted. The wedding was 6 months away, giving me plenty of time to plan. As I walked home that night, my mind raced with ideas. Could I really go through with it? Was revenge worth it? The thought of standing up to Anna and David, of making them understand the depth of their betrayal, fueled a fire within me. Maybe it was time to show them that I wasn't someone to be trifled with. Maybe it was time for a little revenge. The wedding invitation from Anna and David felt like a cruel joke. How could they expect me to celebrate their union when it had been built on the ashes of my marriage? Every time I glanced at the embossed lettering and their beaming faces, a surge of anger and betrayal washed over me. It was time to decide whether to confront this head-on or let it consume me. After tossing and turning for nights, I made my decision. I would attend the wedding, but not as a passive guest. I was determined to make Anna and David understand the pain they had caused. Fueled by a mix of hurt and anger, I started to hatch a plan. First, I needed to look stunning, ensuring all eyes were on me. I enlisted the help of my friends Lisa and Karen to find the perfect dress. We spent an entire weekend shopping, trying on dozens of outfits until we found the one that made me feel powerful and confident. "This is the one," Lisa said as I twirled in front of the mirror, the deep emerald fabric flowing around me. "You look amazing, Liv." Karen nodded in agreement. "Absolutely. They'll see you and realize what they lost." As the wedding day approached, my mind was a whirlwind of emotions. I replayed memories of my friendship with Anna, our shared secrets, and the times she had been there for me. Each memory was now tainted by her betrayal. I tried to balance my desire for revenge with the lingering pain of our lost friendship. Finally, the day arrived. I took extra care getting ready, making sure every detail was perfect. When I looked in the mirror, I barely recognized the confident woman staring back at me. This was my moment. When I arrived at the venue, a grand hall decorated with elegant flowers and twinkling lights, I could feel the tension in the air. Guests were milling about, chatting and laughing, but I couldn't shake the feeling that everyone knew my story, my pain. As I walked into the reception area, heads turned. I could see the surprise in their eyes, some whispering behind their hands. I held my head high, determined not to let their judgments affect me. I scanned the room, and there they were, Anna and David, standing together, smiling at their guests. Anna saw me first. Her smile faltered, and a look of shock crossed her face. She quickly composed herself and nudged David, who turned and followed her gaze. His expression mirrored hers, surprise, guilt, and a hint of fear. I approached them, my heart pounding but my resolve steady. "Congratulations," I said, forcing a smile. "It's a beautiful wedding." "Olivia," Anna stammered, clearly taken aback. "I didn't think you'd come." "Why wouldn't I?" I replied, my voice steady. "You invited me, didn't you?" David cleared his throat, looking uncomfortable. "We're glad you could make it, Olivia." "Of course," I said, my eyes locking onto Anna's. "I wouldn't miss it for the world." As the evening wore on, I mingled with the guests, putting my plan into motion. I spoke with old friends, shared laughs, and ensured my presence was felt. All the while, I kept an eye on Anna and David, waiting for the right moment to make my move. But as I watched them, something unexpected happened. I saw genuine happiness in their eyes, a connection that, despite my anger, I couldn't deny. They looked in love, and it stirred a conflict within me. Could I really ruin this day? Would it bring me the closure I sought, or just more pain? The moment of truth came when the couple took to the dance floor for their first dance. As they swayed to the music, oblivious to everything but each other, I felt a wave of emotion. My plan, so carefully crafted, suddenly felt petty and vindictive. I realized that revenge wouldn't heal my wounds. It would only deepen them. Instead of going through with my scheme, I took a deep breath and decided to let go. I quietly left the venue, leaving behind the echoes of laughter and music. As I walked away, I felt a strange sense of relief. The path to healing wouldn't be easy, but it was the right one. Revenge might have provided momentary satisfaction, but it wouldn't have brought me peace. Forgiveness, however, had the potential to free me from the past and allow me to move forward. As I drove home, I knew I had made the right choice. The journey of healing had just begun, and I was ready to face it head-on. Deciding not to pursue revenge at the wedding was a turning point, but attending was still a necessity. It would serve as the closure I needed, and I wanted to confront Anna and David one last time. As the day of the wedding approached, I focused on preparations with a mix of determination and apprehension. Lisa and Karen were my unwavering support. They helped me with everything, from choosing the perfect dress to planning how I would carry myself. We wanted to ensure that I looked confident and composed, a stark contrast to the turmoil I felt inside. "Remember, Olivia," Lisa said as she adjusted my dress, "you're not just attending their wedding, you're closing a chapter in your life." Karen nodded in agreement. "Exactly. You're showing them that you're strong, that you've moved on." I smiled, grateful for their encouragement. The dress we had chosen was a deep emerald green that complemented my complexion and made my eyes stand out. It was elegant, sophisticated, and made me feel powerful. I completed the look with a simple yet stylish updo and minimal jewelry. The wedding day arrived, and I took extra care getting ready. As I applied my makeup and styled my hair, memories of my friendship with Anna and my marriage to David swirled in my mind. I felt a mix of nostalgia and sadness, but I pushed those feelings aside. Today was about reclaiming my dignity and finding closure. When I arrived at the Grand Hall, the venue was abuzz with activity. Guests were milling about, the air filled with laughter and excitement. I took a deep breath and stepped inside, my heart pounding. As soon as I entered, heads turned. I could feel the weight of their stares and hear the whispers that followed. I held my head high and walked confidently, scanning the room for familiar faces. My goal was to make a lasting impression, one of grace and strength. I spotted Anna and David greeting guests near the entrance to the main hall. They were dressed to perfection, looking every bit the happy couple. When Anna saw me, her smile faltered for a moment, but she quickly regained her composure. "Olivia," she said, her voice tinged with surprise, "you made it." "Of course," I replied, forcing a smile. "Congratulations to both of you." David extended his hand, his expression a mix of guilt and discomfort. "Thank you for coming, Olivia. It means a lot to us." I shook his hand, maintaining my composure. I wouldn't miss it. As I moved through the crowd, I felt a mix of emotions. Seeing them together, surrounded by friends and family, brought back memories of my own wedding day. But I also felt a sense of resolve. I was here to face my past and move forward. The ceremony was beautiful, filled with heartfelt vows and tearful moments. As I watched Anna and David exchange rings, I felt a pang of sadness but also a sense of closure. This was the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. At the reception, I mingled with guests, catching up with old friends and making new connections. I kept my interactions with Anna and David brief, maintaining a polite distance. I could see Anna stealing glances at me, as if trying to gauge my feelings. Towards the end of the evening, Anna approached me, her expression sincere. "Olivia, can we talk for a moment?" "Sure," I said, following her to a quieter corner of the room. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry," she began, her voice trembling slightly. "I know I hurt you, and I can't change what happened, but I hope someday you can forgive me." I looked at her, my emotions swirling. Forgiveness was a difficult concept, but standing here, I realized it was essential for my own healing. "Anna, what you did was incredibly painful, but holding on to anger won't help either of us. I hope you and David find happiness, and I hope I can too." She nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. "Thank you, Olivia. That means a lot." As I left the wedding, I felt a sense of relief. The closure I sought was finally within reach. It wasn't about revenge or making a scene. It was about reclaiming my life and moving forward with grace. The journey of healing was far from over, but I had taken the first step, and for the first time in a long while, I felt hopeful about the future. The day of the wedding had finally arrived. After weeks of preparation, the moment of truth was here. I felt a mix of nerves and determination as I slipped into my dress, the deep emerald green fabric hugging my curves perfectly. I took one last look in the mirror, adjusting my hair and makeup, before heading to the venue. The grand hall was even more breathtaking than I had imagined. Elegant decorations adorned every corner, and the air buzzed with excitement and anticipation. I walked through the entrance, feeling the weight of countless eyes upon me. Whispers followed me as I made my way to my seat, but I kept my head high, my steps confident. As I settled into my seat, I spotted Anna and David at the front of the hall greeting guests. They looked radiant, their smiles wide and genuine. A pang of emotion hit me, but I steeled myself. Today was about closure and strength. The ceremony began, and the room fell into a respectful hush. Anna glided down the aisle, her dress shimmering in the soft light. David watched her with adoration, and for a moment I felt the familiar sting of loss. But I reminded myself why I was here, to face my past and find closure. As the vows were exchanged, I couldn't help but reflect on my own wedding day, the promises we had made, the dreams we had shared. It all seemed like a lifetime ago. Yet here I was, watching the man I once loved marry my childhood friend. When the ceremony ended and the newlyweds shared their first kiss as husband and wife, the room erupted in applause. I joined in, my claps measured and polite. I saw Anna glance my way, a mixture of relief and gratitude in her eyes. She knew how hard this must be for me, and perhaps she appreciated my presence more than she let on. The reception was a lively affair, filled with laughter, music, and dancing. I mingled with the guests, maintaining my composure and engaging in light-hearted conversation. I kept an eye on Anna and David, observing their interactions with a mix of curiosity and detachment. Finally, the moment I had been dreading arrived. Anna and David approached me, their expressions a blend of apprehension and hope. Anna spoke first, her voice soft and sincere. "Olivia, thank you for coming. It means a lot to us." I nodded, maintaining my calm exterior. "I wouldn't have missed it. Congratulations to both of you." David cleared his throat, his discomfort palpable. "We know this can't be easy for you. We appreciate your grace and strength." I looked at them both, the memories of our past swirling in my mind. "I came here today to find closure for myself. I hope you both find happiness." Anna's eyes welled up with tears, and she reached out to squeeze my hand. "Thank you, Olivia. That means more than you know." As they moved on to greet other guests, I felt a strange sense of peace. I had faced them, confronted my pain, and emerged stronger. The anger and betrayal that had consumed me were beginning to fade, replaced by a resolve to move forward. The rest of the evening passed in a blur of music and laughter. I danced with friends, shared stories, and even allowed myself to enjoy the festivities. When the time came to leave, I felt lighter, as if a weight had been lifted from my shoulders. As I drove home, I reflected on the day's events. Attending the wedding had been one of the hardest things I had ever done, but it was also the most liberating. I had faced my demons, and in doing so I had reclaimed a part of myself. The journey of healing was far from over, but I knew I was on the right path. The future was uncertain, but I was ready to face it with an open heart and a resilient spirit. Attending the wedding had given me a sense of closure, but as the reception continued, a part of me still yearned for justice. Despite my resolve to move on gracefully, the memories of betrayal lingered. I felt a strange mixture of calm and a simmering desire to make Anna and David understand the depth of their betrayal. As I watched the guests enjoy the evening, a plan began to form in my mind. The reception hall was buzzing with laughter and conversation as the guests mingled and danced. I excused myself and slipped away to a quiet corner, taking a deep breath to steady my nerves. It was time to put my plan into action. I approached the DJ booth, where the DJ was busy sorting through his playlist. "Excuse me," I said, flashing a charming smile. "Could you play a special song for me? It's very important." The DJ looked up, intrigued. "Sure, what song?" "Someone Like You by Adele," I replied. "It's a bit unconventional, but it would mean a lot." He hesitated, then nodded. "All right, I'll play it next." As I returned to the main hall, I saw Anna and David sharing a dance. They looked blissfully happy, and for a moment I almost reconsidered my plan. But the memory of their betrayal fueled my resolve. I needed them to feel a fraction of the pain they had caused me. The song began to play, its melancholy melody filling the hall. The guests looked around in surprise, some recognizing the song and understanding its significance. Anna and David paused, their smiles faltering as they listened to the lyrics. The atmosphere shifted, the mood turning somber. I watched from the sidelines, my heart pounding. Anna's eyes met mine, and I saw a flicker of realization and regret. David's face grew tense, his expression one of discomfort. The song echoed through the hall, a poignant reminder of lost love and heartbreak. As the final notes of the song faded, the room was filled with an uneasy silence. I could feel the weight of the guests' stares, their curiosity and speculation. Anna and David stood there looking stunned and vulnerable. I took a deep breath and walked over to them, my steps steady and purposeful. "I thought this song would be a fitting tribute to our past," I said, my voice calm but firm, a reminder of what was lost. Anna's eyes filled with tears, and she reached out to touch my arm. "Olivia, I'm so sorry." David looked away, his face flushed with embarrassment. "This wasn't the time or place." "I know," I replied, my voice softening. "But I needed you both to understand. This isn't just about you two. It's about the pain and betrayal I felt." Anna nodded, her tears spilling over. "We hurt you, and for that I'm truly sorry." David finally met my gaze, his expression one of remorse. "We never meant to cause you so much pain. We hope you can find it in your heart to forgive us someday." I sighed, feeling a mix of emotions. Forgiveness isn't easy, but today was a step towards it. I needed you to know how much this hurt me. With that, I turned and walked away, leaving them to process my words. The weight of their actions had finally hit them, and I felt a strange sense of satisfaction. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about closure. The rest of the evening continued, but the atmosphere had shifted. The guests seemed more subdued, the joy of the celebration tempered by the somber reminder of the past. I mingled with friends, enjoying the rest of the reception with a newfound sense of peace. As I left the venue, I felt a sense of liberation. The act of playing that song had been cathartic, a way to express my pain and find closure. I had faced my past, confronted my emotions, and emerged stronger. The journey of healing was still ongoing, but I knew I was on the right path. Driving home, I looked forward to the future with hope and determination. The chapter with Anna and David was closing, and I was ready to embrace whatever came next. The past was behind me, and I was ready to move forward, free from the weight of betrayal. After the poignant moment with Anna and David, I wandered back to the reception, feeling a sense of release. The song had conveyed my pain, and their reaction had shown me the depth of their regret. I had intended to exact revenge, but in the end it felt more like a necessary expression of my hurt. As the evening wore on, I found myself reflecting on what truly mattered. The guests had resumed their conversations and dancing, though there was a noticeable shift in the atmosphere. My friends, Lisa and Karen, found me near the dessert table, their expressions a mix of concern and curiosity. "Are you okay?" Lisa asked, handing me a glass of water. I nodded, taking a sip. "Yeah, I think I am. It felt good to let them know how much they hurt me, but I'm not sure revenge is the answer." Karen placed a hand on my shoulder. "Sometimes the best revenge is living well and finding your own happiness." Her words resonated with me. I realized that clinging to anger and seeking vengeance would only keep me tethered to the past. What I truly needed was to let go and focus on my own future. As I mingled with the guests, I found myself drawn into a conversation with an older woman who introduced herself as David's aunt, Margaret. She had a warm smile and a gentle demeanor. "I saw what happened earlier," she said softly. "You showed a lot of grace and strength. It takes a big heart to confront pain like that and choose to move forward." "Thank you," I replied, touched by her kindness. "It hasn't been easy, but I think I'm finally ready to let go." Margaret nodded. "Holding on to anger only weighs us down. Forgiveness is not just for them. It's for yourself, too." Her words stayed with me as the evening continued. I watched Anna and David from a distance, seeing them in a new light. They were flawed and had made mistakes, but they were also human. Just like me, they deserved a chance to find happiness. When the time came for toasts, I stood at the back of the room, listening to the heartfelt speeches from friends and family. As the night drew to a close, Anna approached me once more, her eyes filled with a mix of sadness and hope. "Olivia, can we talk for a moment?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. "Of course," I replied, following her to a quieter corner. She took a deep breath. "I know I've said it before, but I need you to understand how truly sorry I am. I never wanted to hurt you. Losing your friendship has been one of the hardest things I've ever faced." I looked at her, seeing the sincerity in her eyes. "Anna, what you did was incredibly painful, and it will take time for me to fully forgive you. But I think I'm ready to start moving on. Holding on to this anger isn't helping anyone." Tears welled up in her eyes as she reached out to hug me. "Thank you, Olivia. That means more to me than you know." We held each other for a moment, the weight of the past slowly lifting. As we parted, I felt a sense of relief and a renewed sense of hope. As the night came to an end and the guests began to leave, I walked out into the cool evening air, feeling lighter than I had in months. Lisa and Karen joined me, their smiles reflecting their pride and happiness for me. "You did it," Lisa said, giving me a hug. "You faced your demons and came out stronger." Karen nodded, her eyes shining with admiration. "And you did it with grace and dignity. We're so proud of you, Liv." I smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment. "Thank you, both of you. I couldn't have done it without your support." As we walked to our cars, I knew that this was just the beginning of my journey toward healing and self-discovery. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, I felt ready to embrace it. The chapter with Anna and David was closing, and I was ready to write new chapters filled with growth, happiness, and newfound strength. The days following the wedding felt like a new chapter of my life, one where I was finally free from the heavy burden of betrayal. The emotions from the event still lingered, but I was determined to move forward. Yet, the fallout from the wedding's events rippled through my relationships and life in unexpected ways. One afternoon, a few days after the wedding, I received a call from Anna. Hesitating for a moment, I finally answered, curious and cautious. "Olivia," she began, her voice soft, "I wanted to thank you for coming to the wedding and for everything you said. It meant a lot to both David and me." "You're welcome, Anna," I replied, feeling a mixture of relief and awkwardness. "I'm glad I came." "We've been talking a lot since the wedding," she continued, "and we've realized how much we've hurt you. We want to make things right, if that's even possible." "I appreciate that," I said sincerely. But making things right is going to take time. I need space to figure out what that looks like for me. I understand, she said, her voice filled with genuine regret. Just know that we're here if you ever want to talk. After the call, I sat in silence, processing her words. It was clear that Anna and David were remorseful, but I still needed time to heal on my own terms. Meanwhile, my friends Lisa and Karen continued to be my pillars of support. We met regularly, discussing life, work, and our future plans. They encouraged me to focus on myself and explore new interests. "How about we sign up for that pottery class we've always talked about?" Lisa suggested one evening over dinner. "It could be a fun way to channel your energy into something creative." "That sounds like a great idea," I agreed, feeling a spark of excitement. "I've always wanted to try it." We signed up for the class and quickly found ourselves immersed in the world of clay and creativity. It was a welcome distraction and a source of joy that I had been missing. The simple act of molding clay into beautiful shapes felt therapeutic, and I found myself looking forward to each session. During one of our classes, I struck up a conversation with a fellow student named Max. He was kind, funny, and shared my passion for creativity. We quickly became friends, and I felt a connection that was both comforting and exciting. "Do you want to grab coffee sometime?" Max asked after one of our classes, a hopeful smile on his face. "I'd love that," I replied, feeling a flutter of excitement. "Let's do it." Our coffee dates became a regular occurrence, and I found myself opening up to Max about my past, my struggles, and my hopes for the future. He listened without judgment, offering support and understanding. One evening, as we sat in a cozy cafe, Max looked at me thoughtfully. "Olivia, you're one of the strongest people I know. You've been through so much, and yet here you are finding joy and moving forward." "Thank you, Max," I said, touched by his words. "It's been a journey, but I finally feel like I'm on the right path." As we sipped our coffee, I felt a sense of contentment and hope. The fallout from Anna and David's betrayal had been difficult, but it had also led me to new experiences and connections that were helping me heal. A few weeks later, I received a surprising message from David. He wanted to meet and talk, to clear the air and hopefully find some closure for both of us. After some consideration, I agreed, feeling ready to face him. We met at a quiet park, the autumn leaves creating a picturesque backdrop. David looked nervous but determined. "Olivia, thank you for meeting with me," he began, his voice sincere. "I wanted to apologize again for everything. I know I hurt you deeply, and I regret it every day." "I appreciate that, David," I replied, feeling a mix of emotions. "It was a difficult time for all of us, but I'm starting to move forward." He nodded, relief evident in his eyes. "That's good to hear. I hope we can all find peace and maybe in time rebuild some sort of friendship." "Maybe," I said thoughtfully, "but for now I need to focus on myself and my own healing." As we parted ways, I felt a sense of closure. The conversation with David had been necessary, and it helped me take another step toward healing. Back at home, I reflected on the past few months. The fallout from the wedding and the events leading up to it had been challenging, but they had also led me to new opportunities and personal growth. I had reconnected with old friends, made new ones, and discovered passions I hadn't explored before. The journey of healing was ongoing, but I was no longer defined by the pain of betrayal. Instead, I was embracing my resilience and looking forward to a future filled with possibilities. As I prepared for another pottery class, I felt a sense of excitement and hope. The past was behind me, and I was ready to embrace whatever came next, with an open heart and a courageous spirit. The months following the wedding had been transformative. My journey through betrayal, heartbreak, and finally healing had brought me to a place of peace and clarity. Life had taken on new meaning as I embraced change and rediscovered joy. One sunny afternoon, I found myself at the pottery studio, finishing up a piece that had taken weeks to perfect. The serene environment and the creative process had become a sanctuary for me, a place where I could reflect on my journey and look forward to the future. Max walked over, his hands covered in clay, and smiled. "That piece looks amazing, Olivia. You've really found your groove." "Thanks, Max," I replied, returning his smile. "Pottery has been such a healing process. I'm grateful for it, and for our friendship." "Same here," he said, his eyes warm with sincerity. "It's been wonderful getting to know you and seeing how far you've come." As we cleaned up and prepared to leave, I thought about how much my life had changed. Max had become an important part of my journey, and our friendship had grown into something meaningful and special. We decided to grab dinner at our favorite cafe, a tradition that had become a comforting routine. Over dinner, we talked about our future plans, dreams, and aspirations. Max mentioned an upcoming art show where he would be showcasing his work, and I felt a surge of pride and excitement for him. "You'll be amazing, Max," I said, raising my glass in a toast. "To new beginnings and endless possibilities." "To new beginnings," he echoed, clinking his glass against mine, "and to finding happiness and purpose." As we walked home that evening, hand in hand, I felt a deep sense of contentment. The pain of the past had given way to hope and new opportunities. My heart was open to the future, and I was ready to embrace whatever came next. A few days later, I received a call from Anna. It was unexpected, but I felt ready to hear what she had to say. "Olivia, I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing," she said, her voice filled with genuine concern. "I'm doing well, Anna," I replied honestly. "I've been focusing on myself and finding new passions. How about you?" "We're doing well too," she said. "David and I have been talking a lot, and we're working through our issues. I'm really happy for you, Olivia. You deserve all the happiness in the world." "Thank you, Anna," I said, feeling a sense of closure. "I'm glad to hear you're both doing well. It's been a journey, but I'm finally in a good place." After the call, I felt lighter, as if a chapter had truly closed. The conversation reaffirmed my belief in forgiveness and moving forward. It wasn't about forgetting the past, but about learning from it and growing stronger. As time went on, I continued to explore new interests and deepen my relationships. Lisa, Karen, and I started a book club, and our weekly meetings became a source of joy and laughter. My bond with Max grew stronger, and we began to talk about future plans and dreams together. One evening, as Max and I sat on my balcony watching the sunset, he turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "Olivia, I've been thinking a lot about us and our future. I feel like we've both found something special here, and I want to explore that with you." I smiled, feeling a warmth spread through me. "I feel the same way, Max. Our journey has been incredible, and I'm excited to see where it takes us." We sat in comfortable silence, the sky painted with hues of orange and pink. It was a moment of reflection and hope, a reminder of how far I had come and how much I had grown. As I looked out at the horizon, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the journey I had been on. The betrayal that once consumed me had transformed into a source of strength and resilience. I had found new passions, formed meaningful relationships, and discovered a sense of purpose and joy. The future was bright, filled with endless possibilities, and as I embraced each new day with an open heart and a courageous spirit, I knew that I was ready for whatever came next. The past had shaped me, but it no longer defined me. I was free to create my own story, one filled with love, happiness, and the promise of new beginnings.